Every 40 seconds, there is a suicide death in the world. That equals a reported 800,000 suicide deaths per year. Every year in the United States, more than 45,000 people take their lives. Which means every year, there are more than 1.2 million suicide attempts. Every one of these deaths leaves an estimated 6 or more suicide survivors. The traumatic ripple effect of suicide leaves stigma, shame, and isolation for those survivors. We just see the headlines.
Actor Robin Williams is dead at the age of 63 from an apparent suicide.
Of the famous.
In my next life, I'm coming back as Anthony Bourdain. And I wonder, is that why it's maybe so hard to process this today?
And the infamous.
Pedophile and fake billionaire Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his jail cell after he apparently committed suicide on Saturday morning.
What do we look for?
The truth is, in any given year, 1 in 5 adults experience a mental illness.
My name is Bianca McCall. I'm a retired women's basketball player, a keynote speaker, and subject matter expert in the study of suicidal behavior. I made it a purposeful decision that I was going to prevent suicide from happening to another family, to another community.
To the people surviving, you're gonna have your difficulties, but at the end of the day, you have to make it home.
We all know what's going on in the world today. We are as close to a civil war as we've been since the 60s.
Justice! When you put something like suicide on the table, everything else goes away.
My father suffered from bipolar depression.
When I read that text message, I can't even explain the feeling I felt.
I'm hurt and I'm scared and I'm confused. I don't know what's going on.
It's my daddy. He's dead, isn't he? I said, yeah.
I never thought I was going to get clean.
He gave of himself, and I feel to honor him, we have to give of ourselves to help someone else.
Surviving is not just you woke up the next day, you know, it's every single day.
I'm a survivor. I'm a strong person. My voice has meaning and my voice has impact.
We are go for liftoff in T-minus 30.
Hit the record button.
That's swell.
Italo Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome. This is Italo from Italo's Black Talk Radio. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. If you're in Australia, it's probably the next day, so happy Wednesday for you or Thursday. Anyhow, we have another guest. And this is from the Joe Tanks community. And then why don't you introduce yourself? Let's do it that way.
Okay, well, my name is Marcel, and my tagline in the TikTok community is "Gray Hair Wear." I'm a 45-year-old father of 3, and that's about the longest and shortest bio I think I could give you.
Right. We connected because you were. And I just interviewed Joe, so if you haven't heard that, that you would understand where we're going here. But in the, I call it a podcast, but it's actually not a podcast. It's a live TikTok program. Who is Joe is the one that's behind it, and so basically he has people. He calls people and asks them what's the word of the day, and so that's how I met Marcel. And your word of the day yesterday, or was it today? Perspective.
My word of the day yesterday was perspective. My word of the day today. My word of the day today was time.
Time.
Yes.
Can you spend on time?
Ooh, time is something that we all, as people, seem to never have enough of. We get angry when it's wasted, or frustrated when it's wasted, or we feel like that. And we also, it's free, and it's something that myself, admittedly, I think enough of. But ironically, we all essentially run out of it at some point. So my word of the day is time, so that I remember to take it, because it's there. It's there to take. It's there to spend, and it's also it's very valuable, which seems ironic because it's free, and if it was free, you'd think that it didn't have much worth.
Yeah.
But everybody seems to, it's the most desired thing as humans, is more time.
We don't think time is valuable, but it is the most valuable thing. I agree. And I treasure your time. I treasure Joe's time. Anybody who comes into my podcast, I treasure their time and their knowledge, and inspiration that they give with that little, window that we have. So yeah, I appreciate that. But speaking of why are we here today, I wanted to mention that Marcel is, I don't know if you're the producer, but you have come up with a documentary.
Right.
Tell us about what is the documentary about. I'm going to put the preview, anyways, you probably have seen the preview before
I've seen the preview, yes.
So I've seen it too.
I'm not the director. I am a blessed participant in a docuseries that is currently slated for release in March of 2021, and it covers surviving suicide. I am a dad. I have 3 children, one of which passed away at the age of 17, my daughter Chloe, and on March 26, 2014. From that day, my life has changed immensely. I had to relearn how to feel, to speak, to think, to work, to motivate myself. So I was a part of a Zoom meeting, much smaller or much larger, than I expected. I was invited to tell my story to a group of men and women who were pursuing their degree in grief counseling. And I shared my story there. Upon completing that Zoom meeting, I was contacted by the organizer, and she passed my name on to the director of the docuseries, and was contacted there, and was invited up to share my story. And she had, I guess, viewed the Zoom meeting recording and listened to my story, and said, "Man, he would be great. Let's see if he would like to be a part of it." And so a couple weeks later, drove up to Las Vegas and filmed for the entire weekend, and then it was put into print and into motion. And so we're now waiting for two networks to decide who wants to air it and who wants to give it a shot. I don't want to say the names of the networks due to contractual obligations and stuff like that. But hopefully soon, by Christmas, I will be able to film some more.
Okay. Yeah, and now we were talking before, and so yeah. I'm getting a little emotional because in my family there's also been a suicide, or maybe more, but one in particular that really struck my family was my uncle, who was my mother's brother, youngest, well, not youngest, brother. Now I haven't actually been allowed to grieve his passing for many reasons, but mainly because my mother, who was really, really close to him, I had to be strong, the strong one, because my mother was a mess. You know, this happened in '89. I was still, fresh out of high school. And actually, I was really close to him. Anyhow, long story short, she has not grieved in a proper way. So, what has your experience been as far as a grieving counselor or grieving, having basically a community of people that are sharing their stories? How has that helped you?
I am. I'm not a grief counselor. I wish I was, but that's a heavy load to bear. I too, like you, Joe, haven't. I haven't had an opportunity to really grieve the loss of my daughter, because I've had to be the strong one, like you. I have children, one of which is her twin sister and her little brother. So as a dad, I've had to be an example of how to grieve and how to persevere and keep going and function and make everything okay. And sometimes it's not. The beautiful thing is the relationship that I have with my children has given me an opportunity to show those emotions. And upon showing the different emotions, I've also had an opportunity to explain to them, my children, why I feel that way, what has caused this emotion to come out. Why is it okay to express it, and how to express it appropriately. It's been my experience through social media and through some other works that I've done publicly with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, that sharing my story gives other people an opportunity to have the willingness and the strength to share theirs, as painful as it is. You know, I think that society looks at men and fathers as, whether they're, you know, like myself, 6'1", 235 pounds, and working in the construction industry, you'd think that stereotypically you'd think that I have, you know, a stone face and a cold heart and just got to get this job done and got to move on to the next one, and there's no time for crying, you know. However, it's the absolute contrary with me. I have been blessed with the curse and the opportunity to have an enormous heart and feel emotions very, very deeply and very, very passionately. And I frankly don't care who sees me cry or get frustrated or get angry, as long as they're in appropriate manners, you know. So it's been my experience that I guess my courage and my willingness to be that big guy who has feelings has inspired others to speak up. And I have I go live on TikTok, and I have a smaller live broadcast, and the people that come into my live are all beautiful people that struggle with many, many, many different things, you know, from eating disorders to body shaming issues to suicidal ideation, abusive relationships, whether they're physical or emotional or psychological, and it gives them an outlet to speak their mind and share their fears, and their hopes and their dreams as well. So, and that helps me grieve. That helps me, it helps me heal, because I get a chance to help others heal.
Right. Yeah. If I may share something too, because and I see that your vulnerability, you're showing a lot of strength through that vulnerability, which is, some people might say is a weakness, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's the opposite.
Thank you.
But yeah, there was a time where, so my mother was basically crying one day. All of a sudden, I showed up at the kitchen, and she was already crying. So by the time I get up, I'm like, okay, what's going on now?
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is recently. This is, you know, we're in maybe 4 years ago. And so I asked her what's going on, and she's like, yeah, I'm just thinking about Carlos, and, you know, and that stuff. And this conversation has happened time and time again. So obviously I started crying too, because I'm like, I was feeling her pain, right? Anyhow, after that, I drove to work, and on my way to work, I've never done this before. I never said what I have on my mind out loud. And this one time I did. I was entering the freeway here in LA. And I said out loud, I'm like, how dare you make my mother cry? Having said that, I immediately knew they were in the back seat. And I'm talking about my uncles, because both of them passed. And I felt so overwhelmed by that. And basically I was just bawling all the way to work because I felt the energy and I felt their presence and I felt I you know, it's hard to describe, but I was just thankful that they were together in spirit, and also that they were no longer suffering. Those were the two messages that I got that day. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but
well, it's interesting that you say that, because I see my daughter all the time. I see her all the time. She comes in the form of a butterfly, I believe it's mariposa, and I live in the city where butterflies don't come, and I have a butterfly that lands on my patio every day and circles my patio every day. And you know, my daughter, I got a chance to spend 17 years with the most beautiful girl in the world. And I'm not saying that from a biased father standpoint. She's a beautiful, beautiful young girl, emotional, spiritual, caring, compassionate, fun, happy, but also very tortured and troubled too. And so when she passed, I talked to her and I said, you know, I understand that that your time is done. You know, there's that word again, time. And as a parent, you know, as an old-fashioned parent like myself, sometimes we don't take our children seriously. You know, sometimes it's, you know, when our children come home and they go, Mom or Dad, I don't want to go to school, you know, it's so hard. You know, I know that for me, my parents used to say, you don't know what hard is. I had to walk uphill both ways, you know, to school in the snow. Or, you know, the suck it up. So, and I'm guilty of that too sometimes. I at times I was guilty of that. So what I got an opportunity to do was I got an opportunity to sit with each one of my children, all three of them, and I asked them to give me back all the anger, give me back all the pain, give me back all the frustration, all the confusion that I may have caused them as children with my decisions or my actions or the things that I have said. And all three of them did. And I apologized to all three of them. And I did it separately so that the message was very sincere and very dedicated to each one of them, because I affected my children all in different ways, because they're different people, they're individuals, so they feel differently. So that gave me a little bit of peace with her passing, because I had made it right with her. There was no regret. There was no, I wish I could have done different. I wish I could have said one more time, I love you, or it's okay, Mika, come talk to me. Because I really, truly understood her emotions. And for a parent, for a father, all I want is for my children, especially my daughters, to be happy. and to be comfortable and to be without pain and without worry. And my daughter is now that. And at 17 years old, she's achieved that. So I'm blessed that I got a chance to spend that time with her. As horrific as it is, you know, the end of her journey, I don't dwell on how the journey ended. I don't do that. I relish the journey entirely from beginning to end. And I focus on the beautiful parts, the growing that I witnessed, the sharing that I witnessed, the overcoming the pain and the triumph that I witnessed. And those are all beautiful things that every parent longs for and dreams to be a part of. She has a twin sister who's 24, and I have a grandbaby, and I have an 18-year-old son, and both of them are in great spirits. You know, life is affecting both of them differently, but they're both very strong. They're able to, you know, cry to their father and say, I just need you to listen, you know, because as dads, we want to, I'm going to come fix it. You know, I'm going to come rescue the baby from the burning building. And my children can do that on their own. But sometimes they need that, that reassurance.
Yeah, you don't have to be the hero.
You know, I've noticed that just being here for them to call upon when they need it is being hero enough.
Right.
You know, and preparing them for life every single day, because we're not promised tomorrow. And I'm sure that my children will be okay, no matter what happens. They will be okay, you know. So, and that's my number one goal. You know, I plan on taking a very spiritual journey in March of next year, right around the time the docuseries comes out to public. I'm going to take that opportunity to grieve my daughter, and I'm going to get in my truck. I'm going to load my puppy in my truck, put a duffel bag in the back seat and some dog food in the bed, and I'm going to travel the country and just be in my own little type of solitude, if you will.
Okay. Sounds amazing.
It's gonna be pretty fun. I might stop by your studio and say, hey man, let's go eat some food.
You mean my closet?
Yeah.
Because I'm in the closet.
let's take some selfies. Give me a high five and let's go eat some carnitas.
Hey, let's do that. Yeah, anytime, man. Anytime. We're close, actually. We're not that far.
Yeah.
So we
let's not give everybody in the world our addresses.
No, I'm not. I learned to set boundaries now.
Yeah. I live in El Centro, California.
Sure. And I live somewhere in Southern California too. So yeah, I used to be an open book. People could figure out what I was up to, but I learned to set boundaries now, especially with my parents. I had to learn how to be independent. So, and that was kind of like the thing with with the grieving and everything that went on with her, it was more like projecting it onto me. And I believe that I was carrying her burden instead of just dealing with my own, you know? So what you're doing is great because you're giving your children the space to, you know what I mean? Like give them independence to deal with their own stuff and not be the hero of the movie. Oh, here comes dad to rescue to rescue me, and we have to just work on our own. So yeah, that's a powerful message.
Well, independence is great. Independence is great. Independence coupled with intelligence is amazing. And not being afraid to fail is crazy. I've told my children and friends alike that even quite recently, failure isn't in falling. Falling isn't failure. It's refusing to get up.
Right.
That's where you fail.
Mm-hmm.
And if you fall and you have to crawl a little bit before you get back up, it's staying on the ground that is the failure. And no one that listens to this podcast or sees me on the screen or sees me in public should ever, 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 ever think that they are alone. Ever. You can always reach out to me on social media platforms. You can reach out to me in public. If you see me, I will take the time to listen, because a lot of people, I don't know about you, but a lot of people have those friends that have all of the advice to fix your situation. And it always starts with, you know what I would do, or you know what you should do.
Oh God, here we go.
Or you should try this, and then they dump all of their infinite wisdom upon you, and then they leave. Right? I'm the type of person.
So they're perfect.
Oh, everybody is in their own right. I'm the type of person that, I'm sure you all have friends that say that. Everyone has enough friends that give them advice. But I've found in my life and in some of my friends' lives that you don't have enough friends that just listen. Because I believe that the solution to some of the problems that we face as humans in life, whether they're relationship or financially based, or employment, love life, most of the solutions are within us. But there are so many variables and so many scenarios that are swirling around in our daily lives, that it's hard to really figure them out. And sometimes you just got to talk it out. And talking to yourself may seem like you're crazy in public. So I like to be that guy that listens, and then I ask people if I can share with them.
Right.
And
wait for their answer.
Yeah, and sometimes people go, "Nope, don't want to hear it," and you go,
right.
You go, okay.
Yeah. Don't waste my time. Yeah.
Well, it's not really about wasting time. A lot of people, they get really offended, when you don't want to hear what they have to say. You know, like if you and I, Victor, were if you had come to me and you had something that you wanted to tell or wanted to figure out or was troubling you, and I listened, and at the end of when you were done, I would ask you, do you want to know how I feel about it? And if you said nope, I would go, okay, because I don't want to force my opinion on anyone. If you want to know how I feel about something, just ask me. If you want my feedback on something, just ask me. Because a lot of times, I know for me, when I do share, some of my friends, they don't ask. And they give me their opinions. And what it does is it invalidates everything I've shared. Because it's no longer about the person who's come to you for a reprieve. It's now about the message that you can send to them about, you know, your opinion of what they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we as people just need to listen. Just listen, you know?
Yeah. Hey, that's powerful right there. We have 5 minutes.
We have 5 minutes. Yes. Time to eat tacos. Let's go.
We did it. We did it. No, I was kidding.
We have 34 more seconds.
It's a really great conversation. I'd like to actually have a part 2, either now or in the future. But I just wanted to actually let people. Why don't you tell people how to find your channel? What is the organization about? In less than 4 minutes now.
Oh, this is my
I don't know if that's possible.
This is my 4-minute promo reel.
There you go.
Okay.
Elevator pitch.
Yeah. Okay. So here's my deal. You can find a link to the docuseries on my TikTok page if you look up Gray Hair Wear. If you look that up on TikTok, you can click on the link in my bio and that will take you directly to the preview. If you don't have TikTok, you can look it up on YouTube. It's called the Reach In docuseries highlight. And it's a fabulous project. It's put on by Desert Rose Counseling. And you can find them on Instagram. I don't know their handle. I'm a horrible PR person.
I'll put all the information below. So if you guys are listening on Spotify or YouTube or whatever, you'll find as much information as you'll provide me later. I'll put it below, so you'll be able to click.
That's awesome.
Just click on. Yeah.
So he's going to do all the hard work for me. I'm just going to tell you that you're all beautiful people. Thank you very much for letting me fill your ears, your hearts, and your minds, and your spirit with hope and information and inspiration and a little bit of relief. And I hope that each and every one of you that listens to this podcast or sees this podcast knows that I love you. Even if you don't love yourself, I will love you until you can. And then all I ask is that you do the same for someone else, because it's a beautiful thing. I only have about 2 minutes left, so I'm going to fill that 2 minutes with. I have one more thing I want to do. I just like to sometimes close my eyes and turn off the radio and roll up the windows or go into a quiet room and just listen. And just listen to yourself, listen to your thoughts, listen to the silence, and know that the world is a peaceful place, and it's it's a beautiful place. And if we take the time to really enjoy it, we can get the most out of this crazy ride that we call life. Yeah, be well, eat tacos, and smile.
Be inspired.
That's right. Be inspired.
All right, guys. You didn't see this coming, did you? I hope I'm recording this.
I know, right? That would suck. That would suck. We'd have to do this all over again.
We are go for liftoff in T-minus 30.
Hit the record button.
Gosh, that's swell.
It's a Lowe's Blog Talk Radio.